Kolby Cordell nailed his battle's performance on The Voice Season 27, proving he absolutely belongs on Team Legend. Kolby Cordell rocked Tacones Rojo on The Voice Season 27. Tacones Rojos, a title that means red high heels, is a sexy number in both English and Spanish that coach John Legend himself recorded with Sebastian Yatra in 2022. But the song also speaks to the theme of heartbreak, which Cordell related to. Team Legend battle advisor Coco Jones observed, "Kolby is super raspy. He would kill it on R&B radio." And sure enough, when it came time to perform, Cordell brought out his signature smoky, husky tone. "Thank you, Mr. Legend, 'cause I feel like that was for the ladies," said Kelsey Ballerini, noting that his voice feels like a warm hug. "And razor sharp, too. It's both," added Adam Levine. Michael Bublé gave Cordell a particularly high compliment, comparing him to his own coach. "I can hear a little bit of John Legend in your voice," he said, with Ballerini agreeing. About Kolby Cordell's blind audition on The Voice Season 27. For his blind audition, Cordell performed Never Enough by Luther Vandross. "The song is about operating on a level of love and expressing it with no limits," said Cordell. He got a chair turn from coach John Legend, who stood up to dance. "John is in heaven," Kelsey Ballerini remarked to Adam Levine. "You really made the song your own," Legend told the singer, with Bublé adding, "My favorite part about you isn't just your voice. It's the fact that you come in here and you light the whole place up. I was watching John be at your concert. It was like kismet," said Ballerini, with Levine adding, "Take your time before you choose John." And thus, the Cordell Legend partnership was born. Despite the fact that the battle rounds of The Voice Season 27 began with a great deal of action and flair, the competition between Pablo Herrera and Kolby Cordell was by far the most thrilling of the whole competition. At the moment when the two finalists were standing on stage, getting ready to perform the fascinating Latin pop classic, Tacones Rojos, by the legendary Sebastian Yatra, there was a distinct sense of expectation in the air. This wasn't just a war of voices, it was a conflict of styles, cultures, and personalities, with each artist bringing their own distinctive perspective to the table. Both vocalists were able to demonstrate their vocal abilities and stage presence by performing the song, which is renowned for its seductive rhythm and profound emotional depth. The song served as the ideal backdrop for their performance. As soon as the first chords of Tacones Rojos flooded the room, it was immediately apparent that Pablo and Kolby were not only singing, rather, they were performing. The chemistry that existed between them was indisputable, and the way in which their voices blended together took the song to a level that was beyond that of a normal duet. Not only was it important to hit the appropriate notes, but it was also equally important to tell a story, one that was filled with emotion, longing, and jubilation. A presence that is both powerful and dynamic with Pablo Herrera. Pablo Herrera, who is well known for his deep and full-bodied tenor voice, did not spend any time in creating an impression. Beginning with the very first note he played, he imbued his performance with an obvious fire that immediately captivated the eyes of the crowd. What impressed me the most about Pablo was the ease with which he shifted between the sweet, romantic nature of the song and the fiery, energetic passages of the song. He had a commanding presence on stage that exuded self-assurance, yet his voice also exhibited a certain degree of vulnerability when the song demanded it. The manner in which Pablo handled the performance made it clear that he had prior experience that included both Latin pop and classical music. The visceral passion that he portrayed was never eclipsed by his exact vocal style, which was nevertheless very impressive. It appeared as though his body was moving in time with the beat of the song, and he was moving with an enthusiasm that was infectious. He was belting out the high notes. It appeared as though he was painstakingly constructing a moment with each statement, as he seemed to be meticulously crafting every breath and every pause. It was Pablo's ability to jump between genres in a fluid manner that made his performance of Tacones Rojos stand out from the rest. Even though it was obvious that the song had Latin origins, Pablo's voice was so varied that he was able to experiment with pop, classical, and even a little bit of jazz in his phrasing. He was not merely singing the song, rather he was imparting his own unique flavor upon it, making it appear as though it were a natural extension of his own musical personality. Kolby Cordell, who was performing on the opposite side of the platform, provided a completely new kind of intensity to the entire show. The voice of Kolby was smooth and effortless, in contrast to the powerful and authoritative tone of Pablo's voice. His voice, which had a deep baritone character, blended nicely with Pablo's, resulting in a natural balance between the two of them. He traversed the difficult melodies with ease, never wavering even when the song's rhythm increased up in intensity. Kolby's control was flawless. He never allowed himself to become overwhelmed. Despite the fact that Tacones Rojos is not often in Kolby's style, he was able to establish an emotional connection with the song, which was one of the things that stuck out about him. It was a testament to Kolby's versatility as an artist that he was able to modify his voice to fit the Latin pop style of the song. His phrasing was almost sensual, and he was able to use his lower register to bring depth and warmth to the performance. His linguistic ability was impressive. There were instances when his voice seemed to infuse the song with life, bringing a level of intimacy that matched Pablo's more dramatic vocal choices. His voice seemed to breathe life into the more subtle passages of the song. The audience's attention was drawn to the seamless smoothness of Kolby's voice as he handled the high-energy chorus. His body language was laid back yet concentrated all throughout the performance. It is impossible to deny Pablo's boundless energy, but Kolby's delivery, which was laid back yet measured, provided a welcome counterweight. His performance was lifted to a higher level since it was obvious that he was not simply singing a song. Rather, he was making it his own and adding a layer of complexity to it. The reactions of the coaches, a challenge to the emotional depth and technical precision of the players. Immediately following the conclusion of the performance, the coaches went into action. After the audience and the coaches had finished processing the enormous amount of energy and emotional depth that was displayed during the performance, there was a period of startled quiet. The first person to speak was Michael Bublé, a slick crooner who is known for his appreciation of genuine musical authenticity. The expression on his face conveyed genuine admiration as he leaned forward in his chair. "Each of you brought something truly remarkable to the table," Michael continued, his tone resonating with the sincerity of his statements. "Pablo, you have such a commanding presence, and you conduct yourself with such a remarkable level of authority. By the way you approach the song, Kolby, there is something so effortless and natural about the way you approach it. Both of you contributed to making it feel like it was your own, which is a sign of genuine artistic ability." As someone who has always been a supporter of individualism, Adam Levine shared his opinions with the group. "The way in which the two of you produced such a dynamic was something that I admired," he remarked. "Pablo, you have that big voice that commands attention, and Kolby, you brought this quiet confidence to the performance," said the performer. What made it so thrilling was the fact that the two of you engaged in a lovely exchange of ideas and information with one another. The way in which both artists connected with the song was something that John Legend, who is known for putting an emphasis on emotional depth, couldn't help but praise. What's interesting about Tacones Rojos is that it's a song about feeling, specifically enthusiasm, yearning, and happiness. While Pablo totally dominated the energy of it, Kolby brought this delicate and understated elegance to it. Both of you did an excellent job. You both had a profound comprehension of the subject matter of the song. According to Kelsey Ballerini, a country pop diva who has become well known for her acute musical senses, she also contributed her opinions. "Everything that has been expressed by everyone resonates with me. My attention was drawn to the way in which the two of you complemented one another. Instead of being a contest between different voices, it was more of a cooperation. It was because of this that it was so powerful." As each coach presented their point of view, it became quite evident that the decision that needed to be made was going to be a tough one. Each in their own unique manner, Pablo and Kolby had both performed a performance that was absolutely breathtaking. It was not only about their vocal abilities, it was also about the emotional journey that they led the listener on. Who will emerge victorious in this decision? It was time for the coaches to make their choice. The moment had finally arrived. During the battle round, both Pablo and Kolby had demonstrated astounding talent, and both of them had left their stamp on the competition. The atmosphere was thick with anxiety as the coaches discussed and carefully considered the various alternatives available to them. An outstanding performer was Pablo, who stood out due to his dynamic range and imposing presence. The smooth and laid-back delivery that Kolby provided, on the other hand, brought something quite new to the table. Despite the fact that both had worked hard to secure their spot in the tournament, only one of them could advance. The decision was taken after what seemed like an eternity of deliberation between the parties involved. It was Adam Levine, the coach, who made the decision. Adam, who had been particularly vocal about the one-of-a-kind interactions that existed between Pablo and Kolby, ultimately came to the conclusion that he wanted to continue cultivating Kolby's easy vocal approach. According to Kolby, the smoothness and emotional depth that you possess are precisely what I am seeking for in an artist. Your voice possesses a subtle power, and I want to assist you in bringing out even more of that force as you speak. You have something that only you own. The audience exploded in applause, and despite the fact that Pablo did not make it through, there was a sense of pride in his performance. Despite the fact that he had given it his best, the road that lay ahead of him was still completely open. Cordell is embarking on a fresh start from this point on. The victory that Cordell achieved in this battle round signaled the beginning of a new phase in his journey through the voice. As Kolby continues to progress under Adam Levine's guidance, he will have the opportunity to further develop his distinctive musical expression and artistic abilities. With Adam's great eye for potential and his ability to push artists beyond their comfort zones, it is inevitable that Kolby will develop as a performer as well as an artist. As for Pablo Herrera, his rendition of Tacones' Rojos was nothing short of outstanding, and his time on The Voice is not even close to being over yet. Over the course of his career, he will surely have additional chances to continue to captivate audiences with his commanding voice and dramatic stage presence. The concert that Pablo and Kolby gave was, in the end, a masterpiece of musical collaboration. They were able to combine passion, technique, and emotion to produce something that will be remembered forever. The Tacones' Rojos battle round was a true demonstration of the skill, passion, and artistry that The Voice continues to bring to the stage. As a result, spectators are anxiously expecting what comes next in the competition.